Hi, Stephan Kesting from grapplearts.com here. I'm here with my buddy Richie from Infighting, and today I want to talk about something that I got asked recently. One of my readers is having a real tough time escaping Kesa Gatame, and maybe it's because of the recent Ronda Rousey fight where Kesa Gatame played such a big role. You don't often see it in MMA, but when you do see it, often the Jiu-Jitsu people are like deer in a headlight because they've never seen it before. However, before we talk about Kesa Gatame, I want to talk about a great way to get cauliflower ears, and that's practicing headlock escapes. Headlocks are a school ground tactic, but a big guy who's strong, we're here, we're rolling, and that's the only thing I know. Maybe Richie's choked me out a few times, maybe he's armbarred me, maybe he's pinned me, and I don't like being pinned because I'm big and I'm strong and I can bench press 400 pounds, and I'm a bit claustrophobic. I get a hold of his head, and I know as long as I squeeze and pull and I don't let go, it's hard for him to do anything. And that's true. I'm a one-trick pony, which makes, but sometimes one-trick ponies, if they get you with their one trick, they can be really difficult. So we're just going to start with a basic headlock escape. So here I just have the head, and I'm squeezing. There's a bunch of good escapes. We're going to show probably the one that works most reliably, most often. So we're here. So as you can see, Richie's arm is free, and he's short-armed it down to the ground. He knows that if I get this arm out, if I actually know a little bit more, if I've done some judo, he's in trouble. So he's going to get this elbow to the ground. He's going to reach up and grab my shoulder. Now, leaving his head in pretty much exactly the same position, he's going to turn out onto his knees. I'm going to drop this leg so you can see better. He turns out onto his knees. Right? His head position hasn't changed. Now, it's fairly easy for him to pull back on the shoulder, lift up with his head, and rock me over here. 100% of the time, they're going to try and roll you over, so you got to be ready to Superman on top, not on bottom. You're going to have to put your hands out to stop me from doing this, because a big guy will do this, and slowly you got to work your way back and pull me back on my side. Now, from here, there's a very, very common counter that works really well. Richie's going to step over my lower body here, tuck his heel in close to my belt, or where my belt would go. He's going to take his arm, he's going to put it across my neck, he's going to grab his own wrist, make a frame, he's going to saw back and forth and pull up with his head until his arm comes free, at which point the arm bar is right there for the taking. Super basic, Jiu-Jitsu 101. It works really well. Both Richie and I have had big guys try this on us. It works. Worst case, you get a bit of cauliflower. Oh well. You want to look like a fighter, don't you?
Who doesn't?
Next one. Here's what we're really talking about. Is Kesa Gatame. This position is totally undervalued. A good judo person puts you in this, or even a good wrestler, because they've got similar positions, you are going to suffer. It's going to hurt. You can even get tapped out from here. Trust me, I've tapped out to this position in competition, right in front of my teacher. I felt like burning my gi, but I screwed up. And here's what I screwed up. There's a whole bunch of Kesa Gatame escapes. First of all, we'll go over Kesa Gatame. I loop the head, keep it off the ground. When I do this, I often like to grip behind the knee. Some people like to grip the shoulder. My other hand controls the elbow. Remember I said that the elbow has to be off the ground? This is what makes escaping Kesa so hard. From here, I put a lot of weight forward, I keep my head down, and now there's a bunch of submissions I can do. I also lift my hips off the ground. Here, actually, go through the alphabet, please, Richie.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
Doesn't look like a big change. I just lifted my hips off the ground slightly. Now, the problem with there's a lot of common escapes. One of the most common ones is you scoot your hips away a little bit, maybe you push my head a bit, then you swing your legs up, scissor my head, cross the ankles, and pull me down. And now, we basically end up in this headlock position, and he can armbar me. Yay, he got out. Trouble is, first of all, a good person is not often going to let you do that. Second of all, you got to be really flexible. But the most insidious thing is, see here, Richie's on his side. If I put all my weight on him, okay, go through the alphabet again, please.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H.
His voice gets strained, but he can still breathe. Go flat, please. Oh, no.
A, B, C, D, F, G.
You can actually get tapped out. Now you're flat. Now I can put pressure on your diaphragm. He's on his side. Yeah, you're gonna suffer, but it might take you a lot longer to tap out. You might not even tap at all. So you've gotta stay on your side. Let's assume I've got this arm up here. What I like to do is take this arm and go sort of for the floating ribs. It's not a pressure point thing. It's not a dim mak. It's not a 5-point palm exploding heart technique, but it's a good reference point. Bring this down to right under the floating ribs and link my hands together. I'm gonna pull in a little bit like this. You're not gonna tap anybody out. You just wanna control their body. So squeeze a bit, Richie. Yeah, so now I'm squeezing him. Fair enough, he's gonna squeeze me. He's gonna do 2 bridges. The first bridge, he's gonna bridge up. Go back. See the distance his hips are from my hips? He's gonna bridge up and try and bring his hips close to me. Now he's gonna bridge a second time. You see how our bodies are lined up like this, our upper bodies? He's gonna try and take my head and touch it down to the mat right above his own head. Here. Once my head's here, I'm hooped, I'm going. He's gonna roll me, and he's gonna end up on top. And now he can make me suffer. There's 2 big mistakes here. Number 1 is not staying on your side. Number 2 is just getting your grip and trying to roll over. This can sometimes work if I don't know what I'm doing. If I'm smaller than him, if I make a big mistake, he might just be able to roll me. Problem is, against a good guy who's really sitting out here, you're never in a million years, especially somebody bigger than you, a guy with good judo background, never in a million years is gonna be able to roll him straight away. You're gonna have to do it as a 2-part thing. You're gonna have to bridge, move your hips close, bridge a second time to get the head down, and now a 6-year-old could roll me across. So, I hope this helps you get out of any Kesa Gatames that you run into in the future. Don't discount this technique. It's totally valid. It works in judo for a reason. I've used it in Jiu-Jitsu tournaments. It's won me several tournaments. Submission grappling, it still works. It's a bit harder because it's slippery. And like I said, as Ronda Rousey just proved, you can do it in MMA too. And there's some really sneaky submissions that you can get into from it. So like I said, this little video tutorial came out of a question that one of my newsletter readers asked me, one of my email newsletter readers. And if you've got questions for me, what I would suggest is to sign up for that email newsletter. It's 100% free, grapplearts.com/newsletter. See if I answer your question in the actual emails or in the articles that I send you to. There's a ton of content there. It's 100% free, always will be, very easy to unsubscribe. If I get the same question from more than a couple of readers, then what I'll do is I'll either make an email about it, a blog post about it, or a video about it, just like this one. Because it's really useful to me to know what problems you guys are struggling with out there in the real world, as far as you can call rolling around on the ground with men wearing spandex and pajamas the real world. So take care and have a good day.